Hey everyone, Arcologies here. I thought I would do a quick video on how to kind of do a live performance or DJ with renoise and a few other tools here. The main thing you want to do first, if you want to use just renoise, you can download this tool from the renoise site called DJ Tools Crossfader. I'll post a link to it. It's really self-explanatory. But you'll want to download that. Obviously, everybody performs music a different way. They'll sometimes use live loopers. Maybe you're going to play an instrument while doing it, whatever you want to do. So this is going to be very specific for what I'm doing. But maybe these concepts will help you come up with your own ideas or your own way of working if you work significantly differently than I do. But yeah, so anyways, the whole concept behind this is that you have two main group tracks, okay? I have a deck A group and a deck B group, okay? And both of these groups contain the exact same track. So in each group, there's a break track, two break tracks, a drum track, and by drum, I mean these would just be kind of drum one-shot sounds or whatever. And those are on a drum bus. And then I have a bass, effects, melodic, two melodic tracks, pads and atmospheres, and a vocal track. And that's the exact same thing for each deck, okay? So I have these two deck groups, all right? And with this crossfader tool, you go down here and you can just select what you want, what audio source you want for deck A. So I'm going to select deck A, and the audio source that I'm going to use for deck B, which is deck B, those two group tracks. And then you can kind of crossfade between the two of them. Pretty self-explanatory stuff here, okay? You can also do jump fades here, left, center, or right. And that's all you need to do. Okay? Pretty self-explanatory stuff. This is just a DJ crossfader. And so what you can do is when you know, the way I look at these live performances is that if I'm going to be performing my own music that I've already released and produced or whatever, like just released tracks, I'm just going to DJ with them. I'll just DJ. You know, I don't really DJ often at all, but I use Decadence by ImageLine, which is a super old DJ software back in the day, but it's pretty cool. I've used Tractor maybe once or twice, and I kind of fumbled around with it. But I don't really do a lot of DJing. I used to, like I said, with ImageLine's Decadence or Decadence 2, which is actually pretty cool software. I still have it. Maybe I'll bust it out sometime. But anyways, yeah, so if you're going to be focused on playing your tracks that are already released and produced and all ready to go, probably just want to go the route of just using some DJ software. It's probably far more practical and easier to learn and get kind of acquainted with. But for someone who wants to maybe just use renoise, this is the way to do it. And so the concept behind the entire concept behind this is that you have one renoise file that contains all these tracks or mini tracks or vignettes or whatever you want to call them of the songs for your live performance, okay? And this is just one way to do it. I'm going to show another way to do it. I'm going to show you my preferred way of DJing and performing live in renoise, but this is just one way to do it if you just want to use renoise. You can use this crossfader tool, and you can also, you know, you can MIDI map all of this stuff, and it just, you can make it as advanced as you want it to be. But yeah, fundamentally, it's a crossfader between two decks here, okay? And so the other way to do it is to use Ableton Live as your main mixer or your DJ mixer. And the reason I use Ableton is because I actually have an old Vestax VCM 600 DJ controller that was made for Ableton Live. I mean, you can use it with, it's a MIDI controller, you can use it with anything, but it's got like, it's like perfect for Ableton. And the thing's built like a tank. I got it like, man, I think 7 or 8 years ago. Recently got it out of storage. It's a really cool, they're actually kind of expensive now, but used to get them really cheap back in the day because no one wanted to use them anymore. But they're built like tanks, and they're really nice controllers, and the faders are amazing on them. So that's why I kind of use Ableton. It's really easy if you use this software by Existential Audio, and I'll post a link. It's free, but I donate it because if you're going to use it a lot, I mean, they're only asking for $10. You should probably donate if you can afford it. But if you can't, it's totally cool too. But there are a bunch of different versions you can download. There's a 2-channel and a 16-channel version, and it explains here what it does. It's a virtual audio loopback driver that allows applications to pass audio to other applications with zero additional latency. So what this is it basically is like an internal sound card with a bunch of inputs and outputs that you can route audio between, which is exactly what we needed. So what I did was I downloaded this. I downloaded the 16-channel version. I think there's a 64-channel version, but that's crazy. I don't need that many, but maybe some of you do. But with a 16-channel version, what I do in here is if I go into my renoise preferences, which I've already done this, but if I go into preferences here, you can see that my output device is set up as the Existential Audio Incorporated Black Hole 16 channel. And we can see in the settings here, in the mixing settings, Deck A, whoops, let me go to Deck A's group channel here. Deck A is going to Existential Audio outputs 3 and 4. And Deck B is going to 5 and 6, okay? All that means is that the audio signal from Deck A is going to this internal sound card, and same with Deck B. And so if I go into Ableton Live here, and I go into my Ableton Live preferences, we can see that my audio input device is set up as Black Hole 16 channel, and my output device is set up as my just hardware sound card, okay? If I go to input config, I'm going to enable all the inputs for Black Hole just in case I want to use them, and I'll hit OK here. So now I've created 2 audio channels here, and the audio is coming from my external input, 3 and 4 for channel A, and 5 and 6 for channel B. And all that means is that the audio from Renoise is now being just picked up in Ableton, which is great because I have a really, like I said, I have a really nice Ableton DJ controller. And so now with that DJ controller, I can control Deck A and Deck B. Recorder, I just set this up if I wanted to record a live set. You can just resample it and pull everything. And then I'll explain the stutter effects. I haven't used these yet, but I was thinking about kind of messing around with them next time. So I have Deck A and Deck B here, okay? And if you don't see this bottom part, you see this little button here, X for crossfader. It'll bring up this little crossfader here, and you can assign, like, okay, I want to have this channel be channel or Deck A, or Deck B for this is just for the crossfader. And I can go in between the decks here, okay? So if I'm all the way to the left, so I'm only going to hear Deck A now. Okay, so this is just your typical DJ crossfader, okay? Okay, so this is great. I mean, again, the basic concept of crossfader is here. You can right-click on it and choose whichever kind of transition type or crossfade type you want to use. I think a lot of people use constant power, but I was using transition because I thought it sounded the best. But again, anybody who's an experienced DJ, which I am not, but any of you experienced DJs will understand what this stuff is and which one's best for which purpose. Okay, so now crossfade between the two. Okay, so yeah, that's how you use Ableton with it. You can also use, let me stop this here really quick. So if you don't want to use Ableton, you can also use, let me turn these off, just to show an example, you can also use Tractor, okay? I haven't really done a lot of stuff in Tractor, so basically I'm just going to show you how to set this up. That's all I can really do. But in the preferences here, you go to input routing, and it's the same thing. I want to have input for Deck A to be those 2 channels that I'm using for 2 and 3, 4 and 5. If I hit play here, so let's go back to Tractor. All right, so we can see we're getting audio. And what you do here is you just click on the A and the B here, and I'm changing it to live input, okay? Live input. And I'll bring the faders up. Right, so this is just Tractor. So if you're familiar with Tractor, and you're an expert Tractor user, maybe you already use it for DJing, you can just go ahead and throw Renoise in there and do an entire Renoise set using Tractor. Okay, so we got Tractor going. And you can do a lot of, again, I'm not a Tractor expert, but you can do a lot of cool stuff with Tractor with live effects and DJing. I mean, professional DJs use it, like big names, so obviously it's perfect for it. So we'll go ahead and bring that down. All right, so we've got Tractor. That's how you can use Tractor with it. But you can also use Reason. Reason, again, the exact same concepts here. Reason's got a free I love Reason. I'm a big Reason fan. It's got a free crossfader rack extension. You can do really cool stuff with it. Reason's great because this is just, you can control the entire audio path. So if you want to have crazy effects, or there are just so many things. Again, the options are endless when it comes to setting this stuff up. You can do whatever you want with the audio signal. And that being said, like I said, you can download a 64-channel version of Black Hole Audio. If you wanted to say, bring this to drum bus to a separate channel into Ableton and control that separately, you can do all of that stuff too. So again, that's really how you set it up. The concept is, you have 2 decks in renoise. You have channel A, deck A and deck B. If you want to just use renoise, you can use that DJ crossfader tool. But otherwise, you can download some kind of virtual loopback software like Black Hole Audio and just kind of route it through there and use something like Reason or Tractor or Ableton Live to do all your DJing in. So that's kind of what you do. That's all there is to it. If you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments. Peace.